Anyway, guys, I feel like we have to get to another one here because I really want to argue with Kiko about this. Got to Yelena. Not really. Kiko and I, it's all love here. But we got to talk about this because there's a Yelena figure that had just been announced, and Hot Toys just decided again to drop anything and everything on a Friday. They said, you know what, Lights Camera Kiko Collects. They have a show to run, and they need some news to cover. So I appreciate Howard. I appreciate JC. Howard defended his belt on Nick's wrestling show that one time, so that was pretty fun. Okay, let me pose the question here. And I wish I could find the clip. There was live streams that we did back in the day. And yes, I've been wrong many times. I'm sure if you go back and pull clips, I'm sure there's times where I said something and it didn't turn out to be true. But I'd like to take my victory lap with this Yelena figure. Because at the time, when I mentioned this Yelena figure, I said, you know what? Not that the prototype wasn't good. I said the prototype is a good figure, but I said there are too many competing priorities for people to give a shit about this figure. I said basically there's too many things coming out. There's too many other things that are going to come out that are going to take people's attention and budget and money away from this Yelena. And now we have Yelena, and we're going to see how committed collectors are to her, especially now that the head sculpt turned out so goddamn terrible. Because I'm looking at this head sculpt, Kiko, I want to start with you. I want you to take the floor on this one because, guys, I'm sorry. Look, the original head sculpt, the prototype, was really great. I got to give Hot Toys a lot of credit. But as far as the final product, look, I don't care about Yelena, really. I like the Black Widow film. I actually thought it was pretty good. I liked it. But when I'm looking at this Yelena figure, I don't see Florence Pugh in here at all. I don't know who this is supposed to be. This, to me, unfortunately, looks like an older Toys R Us figure. That's what it looks like to me. Like, this is the type of head sculpt that I feel like Toys R Us would put out before they got better. Hopefully, anyway.
Damn.
I have higher hopes for them. But Hot Toys is so confusing because they'll release, which we'll talk about, that Wen Wu head sculpt. That looks great. And then they put out this, and I'm like, is this the same company? Like, I don't understand what happened here. But Kiko, I want to give you the stage here because I know you're going to highly disagree with me. So what do you think about this Yelena?
I cannot wait for this improved Yelena figure because I don't believe in the pre-orders that they showed that we were getting the headset. That is so awesome. The little earmuffs that she's got going on. I don't think that was originally shown in the original tease. But let's get to this. So I woke up, and this is one of the ones I've really been looking forward to. I with White Widow and this, I thought this would look awesome together. As you said, movie serviceable. I thought it was too late in the MCU as far as releasing. I feel like Scarlett was owed her original movie before she died, essentially. So that's not the point. This is a great figure. And as someone said in the chat a little bit earlier, the Sideshow First Looks unboxing is exactly what I was saying. In hand, it is better than the blogger photos. How many times have we seen the blogger photos and everyone's like, what the hell is this? Even Will saying, what the hell is this? I don't see Florence Pugh in this at all. I do. I even sent you a little screenshot or a little message, Will, and I was like, all right, here you go. Here is the head sculpt. Here's the prototype. And here's two actual Florence Pugh pictures. And here's the difference. Her nose is a little bit thicker in the figure. Because, and we know how it is in real life as well with photoshopping and, filter effects. People love to slim things down. This does not look like a Toys era figure. It does not look like Star Ace. This is a fair, serviceable representation of Yelena Belova. And I love the magnet vest. I think it's got some really cool things. And if you have the White Widow and Taskmaster, there it is. That looks great. So, Will, I would like to ask you, I studied this, okay? I looked. I even put my hands over the different parts of the face to see what was missing. The eyes, and
yeah, let me pull it up.
You know how women end up doing their eyebrows. I live with one, their eyebrows change from day to day. You can't look at the eyebrows completely. You can look at the brow, but not the eyebrows. So the picture I saw of her is that naturally she's either got thicker eyebrows in real life, but then in the show, they're a little bit trimmed down. No big deal. That's fine. Those are fine. But the eyes are there. I even looked at the shape. Those are there. I looked at the nose. I was like, that nose does look a little bit thicker. That may not be correct. The lips are correct. Well, there it is. Yeah, I sent that to you.
Yeah, I had to find it.
So that is her. And I think if you can honestly say that you don't see Florence Pugh in that, I don't see honestly what you may be saying.
Dude, to me, man, so I'm looking at Florence Pugh. These are different lighting circumstances, right? The figure
Correct.
versus
Lighting is always going to be everything.
her on Jimmy Kimmel versus on the red carpet, right? Okay, so first things first, I'm looking
I
at the
knew that was
cheeks.
Jimmy Kimmel by the background is fantastic.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know. I'm just taking a guess, but I would say that okay. So the first things first, Kiko. Let's talk about. To me, if we're pointing out specific things, and I'll let Anthony go on this one too. But the face structure looks different to me. So if we're looking at, I don't know if I can scroll my mouse right. So if we're looking at the face structure here, right here, I feel like this is a little bit wider than Florence Pugh's actual face.
She's smiling in that one. You have to look down at the bottom one to get the real
True.
cheeks.
Even then. It does, and also the eyes. It could be the lighting. Kiko. I'm willing to admit it. You know, the blogger photos. People panicked with Ray too. I get that, and I still don't think that Ray head sculpt is like a 10, but it's not terrible either, right? So the Rise of Skywalker one. So there can be panic. There can be false panic. However, I think the cheek structure is a little bit off. If I'm looking at the eyes, something with the eyes looks off too, and they're different facial expressions. She's squinting a little bit. Maybe she has some bright lights on her in real life, but you know, the eyes look different. They look a little bit wider and bulgier, I guess, than her eyes actual look in these photos, at least. So it's, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's off. It's just a really not good head sculpt.
And that's the thing, is that we can find, if you are convinced in your mind, if there's that one thing that triggers you and you're like, something is not right, you will never be able to look past it. It's kind of like when I said, you know, I don't really know what to do with my display situation because I know that my displays are inferior to a Module case. And I just walk by it every single day and I'm like, there's just something not right about it. I don't know what it is. And that's the way it is with everything. I get real OCD about stuff. I'll sit there and just pick at my beard because something is not laying right. You know, that's just the way I am about all that stuff. But I mean, that's a great photo of her loading the gun and all that stuff. I don't have to blur my eyes, but if you've convinced yourself that you can't see it, you'll never eventually see it. That's the thing. And maybe I'm just sitting there with rose-colored glasses on and I'm convinced myself that it's correct. But I think when I have it in hand and I take my photos, you'll say like, wow, that is Florence Pugh. Because remember the Black Widow figure that came out? That's not Scarlett Johansson.
Right.
And I end up taking the pictures. I'm like, that's Scarlett Johansson. That's probably the best version we've gotten of her. Now, I will say, Hot Toys has struggled with women's faces since forever. They've never been able to nail women's sculpts 100%. I think that's part of it. But all I can say is that I better hear the same outrage that you have for this when you're saying that the Mace Windu character was correct. Everyone's like, oh, 10 out of 10. 10 out of, when you said the Padme is, 10 out of 10, everybody. That Natalie Portman Padme figure is farther from Natalie Portman than this is from Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Well, dude, the lady Mighty Thor one they updated though. That one's pretty good. You got to admit.
That's a good one.
That's a pretty good one. They updated that one. Okay, so Anthony, jump in on this one. Break the tie here. What are you thinking?
Dude, someone in the comments, I think it was Shiny, mentioned that this looks like Ronda Rousey, and now I can't, I can't unsee it now.
Yeah,
and like I don't know, like it's not a bad sculpt in the slightest.
Shiny also said that The Dark Knight was not as good at what movie did he say?
Well, he just tries to get under people's skin. He's just a funny dude. He just doesn't post shit, so it's funny.
Man, I can't unsee that Ronda Rousey like comparison now for some reason, but I don't think the sculpt is as bad as like old Toys era. I definitely feel it's like, man. I don't want to like insult Toys Era, but I feel like it's definitely like a Toys Era now quality sculpt. I mean, I don't know if that's like, you know, a dig or anything, but because they're good now. But I definitely don't want to say this is one of Hot Toys' best. It's not the worst sculpt I've seen from them. And I think that honestly, if we're going to be comparing how she looks, we should probably take like the movie stills instead of like the red carpet or like on the talk show.
I'll try to pull some up.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like
I'll wait for the definitive Hawkeye version of her in the black.
I was gonna say that's probably one of like my more
the black
favorite looks.
Is pretty sick though.
I think I really like that show a little bit more than the movie, so that's why I'm a little bit like more like in line with it. But I don't think I would ever pick up this figure. Honestly, I think that the figure itself looks kind of basic to me. I mean, I know you can't really do much because that's what she came with and that's what she wore in the movie. But at the same time, I feel like I don't know. I guess this just goes back to the other issue.
It's a good picture.
That is a good picture. Wait, can you?
It's not there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, hold up.
It's not there. Okay, so it's different angle, different lighting, so forth.
I don't
Like
know.
it's not there. It's not like, and look, I know Riley he wants to defend the mid Batman, but what I'll say with
He's officially
Loki,
the
right?
mid-man now. That's what it
The
is.
midman.
So
The midman.
here's what I'll say with Loki, right? Loki, I've pretty much been admitting that head sculpt is not a 10, right? But there's a big ass horn helmet on his head. Yelena, you can't do that, right?
I'm not saying this is a 10. I'm saying that it
Right.
is Florence Pugh. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but Riley's saying, well, it's as good as Loki. I don't think it is. If you're looking at Loki's head sculpt without the helmet, sure, maybe. But I'd even think Loki is better than that personally. But Loki has a helmet, so you can make it better. It's kind of like
There's
with
something really
Scorpion.
off. Yeah, no, there's something really off with this sculpt that I can't. Damn,
Okay.
it just does not look like her for some. Yeah, that movie's still.
So
I mean, I know
maybe
it is
it's
a
just the
different
wrong
angle.
still. I don't know, but like it's a different hairstyle, I guess, because it's a different scene in the film. But even then, like I just
I don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know.
I'll tell you
I
what,
mean,
guys. Once mine
Besides
gets
that-
here, I need you guys to share it on your stories to say, like, wow,
Yeah.
this figure sucks. He did a terrible job at this. Do not repost this. He'll get mad.
Yeah.
Nah,
Well, Kiko, I trust your photos, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kiko, you'll have some good pictures, man. But again, I feel like someone said it in the comments. If all the blogger photos look bad, right, or if there's something off about all the blogger photos, I don't think there's an issue with the photography. I think there's an issue with the actual figure. That's just I don't know.
We
I
will
saw
see,
that.
won't we?
Kiko
hey,
can make
hey, look,
anything
look.
look good, bro. Kiko can make anything.
Well,
But
we'll
I will
see,
say
we'll see.
this is that I will be the first when Wanda does come. I will be as critical about that as possible because I know what that needs to look like and should look like. All right.
Mhm.
So I'm not just, the consume person to where I have to just have everything and everything's great and gravy and all that. I will be objective about the Wanda when it comes. I promise. So it's not just me. I'm not just smoking crack right now. Carlos thinks I'm drunk. I'm not. I'm sober.
No,
I
it's
can't
all
drink
good.
because of my illness.
It's all good, bro. Hey, dude, I love hearing everyone's thoughts on this, and it's just a fun discussion. Like I said, guys, don't take anything we say too seriously. It's just, but that's how I feel about it. I mean, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion. Like I said, if you like the Yelena figure, buy it. I mean, I absolutely think, if you're happy with it, a lot of people felt that way about Loki when it dropped, right? And, I was kind of nervous too. And then when I got the figure in hand, I was like, this is pretty good with the helmet on. So, and now I got a fucking bug circling my mic. But anyway, so that's something for sure that we can look at. Why does this thing want to do this now during a live stream? It's because you know what they are? They're attracted to the lights, bro. Like when you bring in lights, like the bugs to get in your house. Do you guys have that, or is it just a Maryland thing?
I have skeeter hawks, as we've talked about.
Skeeter hawks.
Yeah, they're the big skeeters that eat actual mosquitoes. And Amy's like, don't worry about that, Kevin. They're the one that get the bad ones. I'm like, I don't want these fluttering things in my house. That's terrible.
Dude, I had to exterminate a stink bug the other day. It was pretty.
No. Oh, you had one like on your light, you had a stink bug in your room.
Remember that?
Yeah. That was a big episode.
I had one in. Do you know where this one was? In the sink. And I drowned it. So I had to, bro. I had to get it. I had to get that thing. And it didn't even fight me, apparently. It just like went right in and they were like, okay, I've accepted my fate.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Washed them away.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty interesting.